I want to quickly talk about the whole Marlow situation just because it shares a lot of similarities to previous cheating scandals in Minecraft that I've seen come and go, and how the Marlow one seems to be following a very similar path. I'm a 1.8 PvPer, specifically I played bedwars, so I apologize if my knowledge of modern PvP is slightly limited. Before talking about any of the other cheating scenarios, I want to fully contextualize the Marlow situation. Marlow is well known in PvP and has a large brand that is seemingly based solely off of her in-game skill. And without assuming anything about the current financial state of the brand, it's safe to say that it could easily be turned into a full career without that much work. Marlow owns the ranking system that seems to matter for modern PvP. In the past, Marlow has been resistant to getting screen shared or showing hand cams. And then recently, they seem to have posted this long video playing on a new laptop and showing all sorts of BIOS stuff or performing like a self-screen share or something. I'll come back to this video right at the end because it seems to tie directly into what I think is going to happen with this entire scandal, like the reason behind actually posting that video, considering it isn't supposed to be a response. With the context out of the way, let's get into this. The first thing to get rid of is the argument that the best player doesn't need to cheat. There are countless examples of this happening. Given that the top player has a literal brand that is based solely around in-game skill, and this brand generates significant real-world money, that actually gives top players more of a reason to cheat than regular people. And we've seen this endlessly in all sorts of other games and scenarios. A good example is Geometry Dash with Space UK, who despite being one of the best players at the time, still cheated since his entire brand was based off of his in-game skill, and Real Sports having these gigantic cheating controversies like Barry Bonds or all of cycling. So I just wanted to address that first since it's a common and relatively useless argument. The two main scandals I want to compare this to are Dream cheating in MC speedrunning and Luvonox faking all of his bedwars hacker clutch videos. He was a gigantic creator with an existing brand and existing expectations about speedrunning, considering his past world records. The main draw of Minecraft speedrunning is of course the runner's skill. I'm sure there's cases where people make entertaining content that isn't fully skill-based, but content-wise, the speedrunning scene seems to be dominated by the most skilled players. Knowing this, when he came back to speedrunning, Dream cheated to get better runs in an attempt to increase the skill that it seemed like he had, since that was the draw of speedrunning. Now the important part is how the scandal proceeded once Dream was first exposed for cheating. Originally, Dream denied everything, made that infamous video with terrible fake math and the fake professor, trying to convince people that this wasn't nearly as big a problem as the math said it was, because obviously at this point the best scenario for Dream is that this whole thing goes away. And with such a large existing fan base, it's not impossible that that could happen. However, once it was clear that that wasn't going to work, Dream seems to have shifted tactics. And instead the official story became that he cheated, but he didn't know he was cheating. And he just magically had some secret mod that no one else knew about that gave him cheated drop rates. This change is the important part. Once it was clear that you couldn't sweep the whole scandal under the rug, there were now two options. One option is to keep denying, but if it gets proven that you're cheating after all, your brand based off of your skill in the game is essentially ruined, including the insane amount of money that you are generating from said brand. The other option is to compromise somewhere, to come up with a half-truth that saves your brand even if you have to lose the scandal. Lose the battle in order to not lose the war. So with this excuse about the secret mod that accidentally cheated all of his speedruns perfectly like that for him, I'm pretty sure he got banned from speedrunning forever, but it didn't prevent him from creating other Minecraft content and still having this as a full-time job. In my opinion, Dream was probably cheating intentionally and created the half-truth about the mod once it was clear that the scandal wasn't just going to go away. If you don't agree with that opinion though, that's fine. Let me talk to you about the other example. There's a bedwars creator back in the day called Luvonox, who exploded in popularity through these gigantic cheater clutch videos, where he had these long, intense 1v1s against hackers in bedwars, usually managing to defeat them in the end. The videos were massively popular and immediately built him a giant brand based around his skill at beating these cheaters and playing bedwars. But a while later, he got exposed for essentially faking all of his clutch videos, the hackers that he was clutching against just being his friend on an alt account. After how successful his first hacker clutch video was, it seems like he decided to just double down, and every single clutch after that was faked. Now again, let's check out the important part, which is his reaction. When Hypixel SS originally dropped the video exposing him, he obviously denied everything. Once again, his entire brand is based off of his skill in game, so if he gets exposed for having faked all of it, he has nothing left. But because he has an existing fan base, there's a good possibility that the entire scandal could go nowhere if he just denies it. Once it was clear that people weren't going to buy that, he does the same thing I think Dream did. He admits to a half-truth to try and lessen the impact this will have on his brand. Originally saying that only 2 of his 7 or 8 hacker clutches were faked, and that he indeed did script them to try and make the best video possible, blah blah blah. However, unlike in Dream's case, this one didn't actually work out for Luvonox. It was clear that he had faked all of the clutches after the first one, not just the 2 he tried to admit to get off the scandal easy. Instead, it became widely known that basically all of his videos were faked, and his YouTube career essentially ended there. From my point of view, this whole Marlow scenario seems extremely similar to the Dream and Luvonox scandals. Given all the context surrounding the brand based off of in-game skill, the unwillingness to comply with easy methods to clear your name, the monetary incentive for maintaining this brand, it shouldn't be hard to believe at all that they would be cheating to maintain this #1 spot. However, all of that is just speculation, but the reason I'm making this video talking about it is because of the implications behind Marlow's recently posted 2-hour-long video. To me, this video seems to be the attempt to settle at a half-truth the same way Dream and Luvonox did. There is significant evidence pointing towards Marlow being a cheater. Whether it's automated combat hacks, disallowed mods, being caught lying in her responses, etc. And with how big the whole thing has gotten, it seems relatively clear now that it won't go away on its own. Just like in the Dream and Luvonox cases, I think Marlow is going to try and settle at a half-truth to keep her brand. And I think the way to do that is relatively simple. She just stops cheating now. Marlow is obviously a really good player even without cheating, but if she's cheating, it's pretty safe to assume that she won't be the #1 player legit. Despite there being significant evidence pointing towards her cheating throughout all of these duels, it's not like it's been 100% confirmed. So because of this, I can see an angle where Marlow just stops cheating entirely starting now, showing hand cams, screen shares, complying with everything in an attempt to clear their name. And if people only look at that, then it might end up working. In that case, Marlow would keep their brand, still have a place in the community, and just probably not be considered the top PvPer anymore. So while this angle would end up losing the battle, you would still survive in the war. And the video that she posted seems to corroborate all this. Assuming it's all real, in the video she just gets a new computer and then plays on it. And while it shows that when she's guaranteed not cheating, she can still play decently, it does nothing for all of the previous evidence. My personal opinion is that Marlow is probably cheating and is going to alter their response to the controversy to try and save the brand now that it's clear that it isn't just going to go away by itself. If you don't agree with my opinion, that is perfectly fine. I just think it's important for people to consider the full context surrounding this issue, taking into account the brand and the money at stake, and how these sort of Minecraft cheating scandals have gone in the past. And I honestly think that people should use this mindset a lot more for like all games. And a good example I want to put forward for that would be Paco from Geometry Dash. Just like Marlow, Paco owns the system that determines who's hacking, is resistant to showing handcam or easy proof of their legitness, has a brand based entirely off of their skill in the game, and while not being the first, was the one who popularized the Space UK cheating incident. And the reason I bring that up is because the person who exposed Dream for cheating ended up being cheating themselves later down the line. So while absolutely none of this is evidence that Paco cheats, I'm just saying that given this situation, I would personally not be surprised at all if Paco gets exposed for cheating sometime in the future. Anyways, that's about it. It's up to you how much you care about this or if it matters at all. I don't plan to make any more videos on this topic, so let me know in the comments how you feel about this whole yap session. At the end of the day, it's up to you whether you care about if these people are cheating or not. Anyways, I'll catch you guys some other time.